question, please raise your hand to be recognized. And when you're acknowledged, please go ahead and state your name and the media organization you represent, and go ahead and ask your question thereafter. We kindly request that each individual from the press limit yourselves to one question so that we can facilitate others. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. We now open the floor for questions. Orlando.
Gracias. Muy buenas tardes para todos. Buenas tardes, Bev. Buenas tardes, Jade. Una pregunta para cada uno. Empiezo por Jade. ¿Qué tan importante es el partido de mañana contra Paraguay? ¿Qué han visto esta selección y qué tan complicada puede ser esta parte? Y para la entrenadora, hoy en día ustedes son también uno de los equipos a vencer en esta Copa Oro. ¿Cómo lo toman en esa parte y si se sienten favoritas para el partido de mañana ante Paraguay? Gracias.
I think every game is a massive game, especially with regards to the format of this tournament. Knowing that we could win all of our games and still be ranked third overall. Sorry, I need to take this. Knowing that we could win all of our games and be still ranked third overall, and that our ranking comes down to the amount of goals that we scored, is massive for this team. So I think that each and every game is incredibly important to set ourselves up for the back end of this tournament, and also looking forward to further in this year, approaching the Olympics, that, to practice the tight turnarounds of the tournament, to make sure that we're recovering properly, and that we're able to, get as much information about this team and be able to put our best foot forward moving into tomorrow's game is all important things that we have to practice.
I think just to reiterate what Jade said there, I think obviously we have our own expectations and standards that I think no matter where we sit or the opposition in front of us, this is about us being ready for, July 25th for Paris. And so this is a great process to get us there. And I think for us going into the game as favourites, as you say, against Paraguay, that's really good experience for us. And I think what I do know about them, they were a very difficult team to break down. I think you've seen that with Costa Rica. I've seen it previously. They're incredibly tenacious, but also well organised and hard to break down. And that means we're going to have to take our game to another level and do that off the back of a tight turnaround and, with some injuries. So that's a challenge, but we have to embrace that challenge and be ready for that with our own standards and expectations.
Next question comes to us from Neil. Neil, please go ahead.
Thank you. Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press in Toronto. Hi, Bev. Unfortunate news about Nichelle Prince today. It seemed like a fairly innocent play in the game. Was this an existing injury? What can you tell us about it? And is there any word on the seriousness? I know these calf injuries can be difficult.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. Obviously, Nichelle recovered and probably still recovering from an Achilles. And we worked very closely with her new club in Kansas around, how much we load Nichelle in training and even the number of minutes going into games and things. But, this is football and this is returning from injury. So the good news is it's not the same injury. But I think with that, when you are returning, there's always that sort of compensation and things. So just very unfortunate. I feel I'm devastated for Nichelle, both on a personal level, but also, what she's contributed for this team post-World Cup. I think she's done incredibly well in that number 9. So it's a massive loss for us. But I think, I'm pleased at the same time to say, well, this isn't another long-term injury, but I think it's long enough to rule her out with the Gold Cup. And, it could be tight for she believes. I'm not sure yet. So for her to get back and rehab and get some season games under her belt is going to be really, really important. But yeah, we can't deny it's a massive loss for this team in the Gold Cup.
Thank you.
Next question comes to us from Stephanie. Stephanie, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Stephanie Taweri from ESPN. I would like to ask the coach, Bev, What do you think about the level of the Central American teams in this cup, and what do you think that they should try to do in order to be more competitive when they play against you or against the United States, you know, to be more competitive in the area? And for Jade, I would like to ask you too, what do you think about the level of the tournament so far? And with the invitation of the Commonwealth teams, what do you think that that brings to the table when it comes to the level of soccer that they can develop in the area too? Thank you.
Yeah, I think obviously what we know about the trends in the game right now is blocks and being organised. And I think that's where these teams thrive, right? Being difficult to break down. And so I think, you know, it can often pose a threat of, it's just totally different, right? For a team like Canada, and I'm guessing like the States, to play against teams who are very player orientated, and we're not used to sort of that way of defending. Normally it's a lot more sort of zonal, and that poses its problems for us, but it also poses the opportunities for us as well. And I think that's what I've seen that these sorts of teams bring, and we need to get used to that. And it's, you know, you pose that question to Jade there, when we go and play these sorts of teams in let's say in Olympic Games, we've had experience again against unorthodox sort of marking that really you've got to make a move for yourself, but you've also got to make a move for the opponent in order to free yourself up.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate what Bev had said, I think that, you know, playing in this tournament, we face a certain style of play that we don't necessarily face in other windows. I think that, you know, playing against the block is probably one of the most frustrating things to do as a player. And I think to be able to practice that, to figure out what works, what doesn't work, especially, you know, in preparation for an Olympics where we might face an opponent who does sit into a block, I think that it gives us the opportunity to, you know, arm ourselves with the tools that we need to prepare on that stage.
Any more questions? One more that came in. What's the message you have for young girls or ladies that look up to you as an all-female squad that's doing really well, and knowing that the W Gold Cup is a big international competition for women in this region? What's your message for ladies that look up to you?
I think it's hard to put it into one message, but I think, you know, to dream big. I think that when you look across North America, Central America, and South America, we're all coming from very different backgrounds, which afford us very, very different opportunities. However, nothing is too far out of reach. And so I think I just say to dream big and to never doubt yourself. Like I said, it might not be the easiest route, but nothing is impossible.
Wonderful, thank you. At this time, no further questions are coming in. We'd like to thank the media for joining us online. And of course, thank you, Coach Bev Priestman and player Jade Rose for joining us. Good luck in your match.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.